This is the Aftermarket Radio Network. Carm Capriotto here, the premier aftermarket podcast host with stories, perspectives, and points of view. We share them. You learn. This episode was recorded at Dynamic Automotive's 25th year anniversary with owners José Buesois, Lee Formanis, and Dwayne Myers. Like so many other businesses, it all started with them in a garage with some tools. Now with 5 locations, it's grown in every way possible, including creating a strong leadership team. Listen carefully as José, Lee, and Dwayne give valuable insight on how they expanded logistically and internally. The team from Dynamic was on my episode number 2 from March 2015, 6 years ago. We reminisce in this catch-up episode. Thanks to our partners, Apex and Shopware, for providing this episode. The chance to nominate your favorite shop owner, service advisor, and technician of the year has arrived. Please listen to this. These annual Apex Awards recognize those who truly go above and beyond to keep vehicles on the road. For details, go to aapexshow.com/service awards. Nominations are due Wednesday, September 1st. See a special Carmcast number 94 for an exclusive look at the Apex nominations. Hey, question for you. What do WorldPack, Mitchell One, Kukui, and QuickBooks have in common? Well, they work with Shopware. Connecting the aftermarket together, Shopware's all-in-one platform maximizes shop efficiency and delivers customer satisfaction without compromise. Get the shop management software trusted all across our industry on the web at getshopware.com. If you want to hear a just starting out podcaster, now that's me, catch episodes 2, 3, and 4 from 2015 with these guys from Dynamic. Find the episodes on my website, remarkableresults.biz, and I'll also put a link on this episode's show page to those old episodes. Hey, I'm honored to have in this great portable studio that I have sitting here in Newmarket, Maryland, in a 25th anniversary plus one, yes, celebration with the team, the ownership team of Dynamic Automotive, and I'm with Dwayne Myers.
Hey, Carm.
And I'm with José Buesois. Say hello.
Hello, Carm.
And I'm with Lee Formanis.
Hello, Mr. Carm.
Hey, guys. So that you all recognize their voice. And this is really a special thing for me to be here to celebrate the 25+1 anniversary, to see this brand new 18-month-old store, guys. I mean, the more I've been hanging out here today and seeing the detail that you put into it and the heart, sweat, equity that you put in, so impressed. What a beautiful place. And we're going to do an aftermarket weekly shop tour. We've already done it, Lee, right. And we'll have you on in so many weeks to do this. But for the listener, you guys gave me a hell of a start in this industry. And when I birthed the idea in March of 2015, I called you up, Dwayne, and I said, I have this wild idea. I want a podcast to the industry, and would you and the guys come on? And I think you were all sharing one microphone. I just can't remember, but it was very, I don't want to use the word barbaric, but it was very elementary at the time. And of course, today my requirements have gone so much higher. And of course, look at what we have here, all this great equipment. And you gave me episode 2, 3, and 4. We're in the 600s now, just a Remarkable Results Radio. And so you guess what I did? I went back and I listened to episode 2, 3, and 4. And I realized that as a podcaster and an interviewer, I've come so far. I almost didn't want to listen to it. It was like nails on a chalkboard. You guys were great. It was me. And I've come so far with the guests and everything. And when I realized I was coming down here, I did want to pay homage to you guys coming on. So enough about me, guys. I realized how honest and forthcoming you guys were to talk about the struggles and the challenges that you had back then, and, you know, new banking relationships and so many things. And you had 3 stores at the time. And now you have 5, and you're well on your way to, you know, incredible growth and one hell of a team, and in 6 years, a phenomenal business culture. So let's summarize from each of you. And again, this is conversational. What are the big changes in the last 6 years that you're each so proud of, Jose?
I believe that the evolutionary process that everyone has undertaken has really defined the changes in the past 6 years. We have people that have ascended to new positions, and they've been challenged, and they've met the challenge, and they're growing before our eyes. You know, back then, way back then, I always told Lee, hey, we got to clone ourselves. We got to clone ourselves. We have to replace ourselves. And that's what's been happening throughout the years. And all of us have taken a role into becoming mentors, teachers, helping growth happen within our business.
I want everybody to listen so intently to what Jose said. It was huge. It was profound. And if you look in the mirror and realize that you haven't been able to have the kind of culture, business, and a great team around you, part of it is because you haven't cloned, you haven't mentored, you haven't coached, you haven't taught the people around you how to take over for you.
One of the biggest changes in the last 6 years for us has been the fact that we work more now on our team than we do worrying about the business itself. Our team does the business, and we spend the time working on our team. And that, I have to say, is probably the biggest difference for us in the last 6 years, is as we open this fifth store, instead of myself, Lee, or Jose having to go up and start it and run it, grow it, we have a team. We have a new leader that's been with us. And then our other leaders came in and actually helped him and grew it. And it's such an amazing thing to see. Is it wasn't just us. Actually, it was what was grown out of what the investment we put in our team already. And the team took that and grew us even more. That to me is phenomenal. And I know this just happened, but it took the last 6 years for it to get there.
Lee, I'm satisfied with those answers. My question to you is, I finally saw the two-bay operation that started this whole dynamic legacy. It's just, I can see it from this window in this office. And that's Jose and Lee started in that two-bay place 25 years ago, right?
Plus one.
But you guys you started in the typical way, in someone's garage, didn't you?
Yes, we started the business in my personal garage using my father's tools.
Well, okay, and there's thousands of people that say, been there, done that. Cool. Love to hear this story 25 years later. And so you guys kept eyeing this piece of property adjacent, if you will, a kitty corner exactly across the street. And, it was something you couldn't swing at the time. And somehow, fate happened. The sun and the moon and the stars were all in the right place. And you got a chance to build this. Ever think this would be ever 25 years later, plus one, it would be your replacement store?
We talked about it. Sarah's like, we need another place. And this was kind of like the forest for the trees. It was sitting right here staring us in the face, and I'll be damned if we could see it. It had this big, humongous price tag on it. And we just thought, that's not reasonable. You got to fit things in a budget. That's never going to happen. But it was a perfect area. And then a very good real estate friend of ours that's a customer, he brought us the dream, and he brought us the way that he said it, guys, I think we can make this work. And he started working his magic within his field, and the next thing we knew, we had a deal.
You busted hump. We'll show this tour here in a few weeks on Aftermarket Weekly. But I got a question. Why did you say we need another place?
Well, it's because...
Are you guys just, it's like... you're just never satisfied? You continue to want to grow? I know financial security is a big thing, but do you have a team that is growing and you want to find places for them?
Exactly. Our team's definitely growing. We're trying to make the place and fit their goal. We check their goals on an annual basis so we know what their dreams are. The only way for us to meet their dreams is for us to kind of meet our dreams in expansion to be able to fulfill that need. If we fail to do that, then we're not going to be able to fulfill their needs, and they're going to get stagnant and not be as content and happy as they would be.
It was also time to expand the new market location. We were running over capacity out of two bays. The population here is exploding in this community. The demand was there. And Lee, I remember Lee telling me, Jose, if we don't do it, somebody else is going to do it. So, of course, we had to do it. This was home turf.
Does he pound on the table a lot?
Lee does.
Okay, all right. Well, don't pound because it makes noise on my microphones. You were telling me that they're putting, how many thousands of houses?
5,000 new homes are supposed to go in over the next 5 years. That started about a year and a half ago.
Wow. It's an amazing place. I drove around it, to get here. There seems to be a lot of money out here, too.
It's a high-end area.
And the other thing is that you would basically call yourself, a shadow suburb of Washington, D.C., right? Or
yes.
some out this way, I mean.
Yeah, a bedroom community of the metropolitan area, both for Washington, D.C. and for Baltimore as well.
Wow, how cool is that? This multi-shop owner group is in 20 mentor coaching groups for multi-shop owners. Did that pay off for you guys, dividends, to allow you this intelligent, smart, financially secure growth?
It definitely did. The very first class meeting I went to, it paid for itself right away, because we took a problem. We had a store that wasn't performing as well as it should have, and we quickly got pointed out that we were the problem. We hadn't done things we should have done, and we learned from that and turned that one around really fast. And to this day, I still say that first topic paid for itself still. But we're able to bounce these ideas for expansion because you don't know what you don't know. So you take your peers that are doing this, and we get this information, and we're able to use it, and we're more efficient with it, and we save time, and we save money, make better deals. And we make our team and all better as well at the same time, because you need to elevate everything at one time as you go up.
Imagine that. Successful shop owners, 20 years in, decide that they're going to go out and work in a coaching group, mastermind environment. Just think about that, and think about the number of shops that are out there that are struggling and say, I don't know, I can't afford to coach.
What a mistake. That's very costly. That's a missed opportunity to improve oneself. And a good friend of mine told me a few years ago, missed opportunities are very expensive.
Yeah.
You can't afford not to have that. That business coach really is kind of what also helped turn us around when we went with that first business coach. It helped bring unity to the team. Instead of anyone acting as individuals, we now had a team. And the team wanted to grow. So it made a big difference. I
am so glad we're talking about this, because I am such a huge proponent of coaching masterminds, the kind of mentoring that you can get from either people at your same level, but their different perspectives, peers, if you will, insights and wisdoms, because I don't care what podcast you listen to, what webinar you go to, what mastermind group you go to, you're going to learn something and then take it back, make it your own, bring it into your culture, and now you've got something new to emblazon the team and improve the culture. So thank you for that piece. Before I interrupted, because I needed to do that, to me it was important to continue to push the idea of help and support. What's around the next corner for you, Dwayne?
For myself, I'm going to be working with some of our leadership team, helping them grow, to take over some of the duties I'm currently doing. There's a couple people that want to move in some of the positions I'm doing. So I'm going to be working on that. And then there's some other processes, high-level processes that we need to do so we're easier to replicate. And then all of us are going to be going out looking for that next opportunity. And that takes time and effort. And I think it's well worth my time.
How long do you think something like... Oh, it's a terrible question. I know. Year, 2 years to find the next place, or sometimes something could land on your desk in 3 months. So there's no time frame, is there? No timeline?
The next good opportunity when it shows itself.
Yeah, when it shows itself. But do you have to be aggressive? Do people know that the team from Dynamic is looking to grow? The people that could be succession targets for you? Does everybody know?
A little bit, and we're going to make them know we are going to do some direct mail stuff. We're going to mail out some letters to some potential locations that we would be interested in acquiring, and just kind of drop that seed. I'll kind of plant that seed and see where it goes. But we are hopeful in the next 6 months to the year that next opportunity has presented itself, and we're already underway working towards it.
Lee, what's around the next corner for you? What do you want to do?
Just kind of help watch the team grow and be successful and do everything I can just to support that. This venture here went really good, and then the Emmetsburg venture actually went really good, and we kind of seem to be honing our skills on doing that better, and it's kind of exciting. So I kind of like being involved with stuff like that.
One of the things that I noticed is that you guys aren't doing much of the heavy lifting. I mean, you made the deal, right? And then you got out of your way and let your people do it, right, Jose?
Right, that is correct. Yeah, and they've taken the ball and they're running with it as we speak, and they're doing a great job with it.
What's around the next corner for you as the COO of this great company?
Well, as you know, I am involved with operations, and I am mentoring a gentleman right now to start taking over some of my responsibilities as well. We have a few team leaders who are learning to take over certain aspects that Dwayne and I and Lee are doing. Again, we're replicating ourselves and moving on. So I just want to keep climbing, evolving, making this a better process, putting out the blueprint so it becomes pretty much fluid. When you get into the beginning of the process, you can go from A, B, C, D in regards to acquiring a location, acquiring the team for that location, and putting everything in place. The SOP is so important.
Yeah, let me stop and ask you a question. Do you have to have 80 bullet points in a standard SOP? Does it just need to be 8 or 9 or 10?
It depends on the process.
Okay.
Some processes are pretty simple, and you want to keep it general. And you want to also allow leeway so people have certain freedoms so they can handle it. Some processes require detail, and then you've got those 80 bullet points in there.
How deep is the process completed here for Dynamic? I mean, is everything done, or is it an ongoing thing?
It's an ongoing thing.
It is,
and we've done quite a bit in the past few years. And the beauty of this, processes like this were developed largely by a couple of us. And now I have easily half a dozen authors of SOP working within this company.
Oh, do I love that word, authors. I just love that. That's beautiful. There's some ownership there then, huh?
Yes, and they do take pride in it. And today, I don't know it all anymore. I was behind the desk and made a phone call to one of my team leaders, and she said to me, "Did you grab the SOP, Jose?"
Now okay, perfect. Is that online? I mean, does everybody have access to that?
Yes. So there is access. We have an executive portal, so to speak, so we can access this information and read about it.
Yeah.
She was right. There it was.
Okay, guys. One of the things that we did talk about in the early episode 2, 3, and 4, March 2015. Again, thank you so much for helping me kick this whole thing off. We talked about banking, and then Dwayne, you came on with your banker Denise and Mark Roberts. I think it was Town Hall Academy episode 175, and we talked about banking relationships. And 25 years, but rapid growth in the last dozen?
I would say.
Okay.
Last half a dozen.
All right, last half a dozen. So you can put cash away, but yet you need a relationship to help you buy land and build a building, because banks love to loan money against, that kind of tangible property assets, right? Speak, if you can, team, how important banking relationships are, even though we've done the show on it and you know how important it is. There's people out there listening and saying, I really admire these guys, but what's the magic behind getting the money that it took to pull this thing off, besides having a real good financial statement?
It's important to choose the right type of bank for your business. And for us, it's definitely a community-based business where they get to know you, because they can lend more on a financial statement. Of course, your goal is to have a strong financial statement, but if they know your heart and your will behind you, It's measurable, and a small bank will get behind that and lend on that.
Would you pay a higher point, maybe?
It's possible, but you know what? To me, it's a higher points is worth it because you're a little more risky, but what they're doing is allowing you to grow and possibly survive, depending on where you're at in your business.
You guys agree?
Oh, totally agree. Our bank has been a godsend, and we built that trust. I mean, when we first went with them, we thought we were like just crashing and burning, and they were telling us how good our P&Ls looked and our financial statements looked, and we're looking at each other like they're crazy. It turned out they were right. We just, had to learn what we didn't know. And so we just learned to make it better and more positive, and Dwayne's been a mastermind at working the deals with the bank.
We want to learn, Dwayne, what it takes to build that relationship. I'm sure it's your personality. I'm sure it's that you care to know who that banker is because banking relationship's important. I know because you guys are big in community and the bank probably likes that. But why did Dwayne really make that key point of the plow thing?
The relationship and all is good, but you also need to talk about your vision and your future and where you're heading. Okay, if you're stagnant now or even if you're successful, yes, you can pay your bills today, but I think they want to know, where are you heading? And when they get behind you because you've told your story, now they want you to be successful and they become your cheerleader. So when you need that little extra or they need to make it work or find a way, if they have buy-in because they're part of the future, I think they work a little harder and they find a way to make it work.
Even if you want to add 4 more bays, it's all important.
Yeah, it's growth. And they want to get behind a business that's growing. Not only that, though, you have to find the bank that's going to believe in you after you tell your story. It's a dance. And you have to find that proper dance partner to make it really work, to really grow. If you haven't found that, you got to keep looking.
Wow. How important, as a listener of this podcast, and we have thousands, I'm sitting here saying, oh my God, I got to have a financial statement in order to start growing. Boy, we just have QuickBooks, and if there's money in the bank at the end of the month, I'm a happy camper.
That means you're probably not ready to grow. You got to grow at the right time. That way, you have to prepare.
I have a buddy down the road, 2 communities over. He called me up and he says, hey, why don't you take over my place? I'm done. I've had it. And he says, okay, not really realizing all it's going to take. He may not have the cash in the bank, but then he sits down with his banker, who he's known. He's seen him out to dinner every once in a while. The banker says, yeah, send me your tax returns and your financial statements. And he goes, and part of this is to have this dialogue with you guys who are growing, who have been successful, have had one hell of a run in the last, as you said, maybe 6 years, and to teach so many people, teach the successful people, and says, I'm successful, but I could learn from these guys, or teach the people that we want to improve the professionalism in our industry, become the CEOs of their business, have proper paperwork so that listen, the independents have 70% of the out of warranty work from the dealerships. In some markets, it's 75%. With the technology moving and the sophistication of the customer, we have to be better at what we do. And you cannot do it by having a slouch of a business. Sorry to put it point blank like that. And so learn about this stuff. Years ago, 25 years ago, when you weren't even in the picture, Dwayne, you guys have great financial statements?
We started out in the black.
30 days out, we were in the black, and
we were
I would
actually
say
pretty strong.
At the end of 10 years, we had amassed a great deal of capital, quite a bit of capital in the bank. Lee and I weren't the type to frivolously spend. We socked it away. So we created this foundation, and we thought, okay, we can purchase this second location, which happened in 2002.
And the second location was because you only had a 2-bay place where
right.
Each who was on the counter and who was in the bays.
Well, we both were in both.
Yeah, okay. You did what you had to do.
We both wore all the hats.
Yeah.
What was the motivating factor at that time, even though you were second cash away, to say, we want to work harder, let's get a second location?
We wanted ownership.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we were renting and leasing where we were at. We wanted to hold the tangibles. We wanted the property.
You wanted the property. What store was that?
Liberty.
Okay. I've never been to that one.
And it really did make a difference after we purchased that business. And actually, we didn't purchase a business. We purchased brick and mortar because it had been sitting empty for about a year and a half. So we bought it for less than what most people were buying homes for at the time.
I love it.
Yep. And another thing with the banking relationship is you have to show the bank that you care about your financials. It's not just about depositing money and writing checks. It's showing them that you definitely have a vision and you definitely have respect for that money and where it's going and how it's being used. And you're not just out buying, crazy things with it.
Show them you're managing your costs. You have a handle on your gross profit margin.
Correct.
You have a handle on all those KPIs. I guess it's time. It would be time to teach the banker what our business is about, right? Huh?
Might not be a bad time.
No, not a bad time at all. That's one thing is when they know certain things to look for, but when you can help explain your industry and your business to them, now you are their advisor. And you're teaching them, so of course they're going to have a lot more faith and confidence in you as a business owner that you have your stuff squared away.
Hey, Carm here. Coming up, find out how to recognize great talent for your business. Hey, Carm here, and I'm excited to announce the chance to nominate your favorite shop owner, service advisor, and technician of the year. These annual Apex Awards recognize the superstars among us in the industry, and those are the ones who drive the industry forward, serving as role models and truly go above and beyond to help keep the world's 1.4 billion vehicles on the road. To nominate a shop owner, service advisor, or technician, go to aapexshow.com/service awards for more details. I'll put this link in the episode's show notes. Apex has lined up an independent panel of shop owners and industry leaders to review the nominations and select the award recipients. The best of the best will be announced November 2nd during the opening keynote session at the Sands Expo in Las Vegas during Apex. Don't wait. Do it now. Nominations are due Wednesday, September 1st, 2021. Hey, look, I know that you know of a deserving person. Are you stuck in small ticket rut? Well, that's exactly what happened to Dominic Linden and the team at Autobahn Service in Sheffield, Massachusetts. With the busy day-to-day bustle of shop operations, they didn't have time to chase customers for approval. They were caught in a cycle of low AROs, and they were losing those higher ticket jobs to competitors. Autobahn Service was introduced to Shopware, and just a few months after going live, the shop was so busy with new jobs that they actually needed to lower their car count. They are now able to be selective with the services they take on, and profits have never been better. Additionally, by tapping into Shopware's digital estimating capabilities, Autobahn Service has noticed an 89% average approval rate from customers. Their average RO before Shopware was $450, and now it's up to $700. Now that's a 55% increase. Do the math. Reach your customers faster and get approved dollars up. GetShopware.com. Thank you so much for this last little segment, to help teach the industry. Extremely wise stuff. Appreciate it. Guys, you are so committed to your team and training. And I met some of the guys. We've done some interviews here today. Says, hey, I'm going to Apex this year. Can the industry get behind that and everyone take, one or two people? I don't know how many you're taking, 4 or 5.
Total of 8.
Total. Wow. So again, hats off, kudos to you. And again, here's the wise words of this team, this dynamic team at Dynamic Automotive. Why do you feel that's so important to do?
Education. Taking our team to these top-notch events. Why? The takeaway for them is incredible. They come back with their batteries fully charged, turbochargers spinning away. They've increased their horsepower incredibly. And they've learned that our industry isn't just in our area, how large our industry is, and that it has so many different facets, and they come back with their mind blown.
When me and Jose were in the dealerships, we were like the cattle that give milk. We had a coin around our neck, and we walked up to the milker, and we had to give milk all day long, and that's all we were. We were a number, and we were a cattle with a coin around our neck. We've tried to show our team that there's a whole world of this industry out there, and we're supporting you to see it, feel it, touch it, understand it, and grow with it. We didn't get that. But that's where me and Jose had a vision to make it different and to do it different. And that's part of our success.
That's an analogy that will live in infamy right there.
That was well worth me passing for a second, that's for sure. But I'll go along with what they said. Of course, education is king. But the unique thing about Apex, is it's where our industry is. And there's no place that you can see our entire industry in its depth. Because I try to teach and educate our team that what goes on inside these four walls, but you don't know the massive industry that's out there that supports you, that makes your parts, that engineers them, that delivers them, the logistics, everything else that goes on behind them. And it's such an amazing thing for them to see. And then the networking, getting to meet the CARMs out there and getting to meet the different business coaches and different shops. Yeah. That's special too when you connect, because now they have peers that they can talk to when they have, hey, I'm working on something. I know your episode earlier, what Paul was talking about, some of the peers that he works with. Those are people they can meet out there. Yeah. And also, I think that's equally as important.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because the camaraderie that you end up getting from that, and I know that you guys also take people to Vision. You've actually, I think, taken some teams to Auto Mechanica in the past. So you're super committed with that. And again, could that be a wow, there's another cool takeaway for the rest of the industry to realize that, you may not be as big where you guys aren't closing down and you're all covering for each other to take that size of a team away. I can't close my business. I can't schedule less. I can't leave. Those are excuses we hear all the time.
That's an indicator right there. That really is.
Bing. Yep. Right there.
And if they would do it, it would pay dividends, but they've got to be afraid to put their foot in the water.
How have you built such incredible talent? How do you recognize great talent?
I think some of them found us. We just recognized it and helped it grow.
That's a huge, huge statement, Lee.
Lee's right. Some of them did find us because they felt that there was opportunities, and some of them, the opportunities we really didn't even realize they were there yet. But I think another reason is we listened, and we gave them a chance to fail, to try new ideas, not the way we've always done it. And a lot of times they were right. And I think that is a big reason. Once you give them that chance, then now they got buy-in, and now it's part of their mission to make it better and make themselves better and make a better team member.
How many didn't make it that you took a chance on?
Well, quite a few.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't regret any of them.
That left, or you left? You had to let them go. Is that it?
Both?
Both? Okay.
No, so some and not so much anymore. We really don't have to let too many go. But we also screen them a lot better too. Just as simple as we're a training company. We educate. What's your belief in helping yourself? And if you're not willing to travel or do education and training, you're not a good fit for us.
I've seen an awful lot of referral stuff going on. I started here, pulled in my sister, or Paul and me, and 3 or 4 of them were all working at the same place, and all of a sudden, somehow, they all ended up here. And it doesn't matter what location, but they've all here at Dynamic, and that says so much for that the inside love and caring and culture that you have. It gets itself out there, and people want to work here. So you're not afraid to grow because there won't be a talent problem because you're building that internally, right? Your own apprentice program.
We're building our talent at all ends. Apprenticeship really taught us a lot, and that helped us learn to grow our career paths. And by doing that helped us grow the upper end and to strengthen up our senior leadership. Because I think it's one thing to train a manager and how to do an SOP and how to do a procedure, but it's another thing to develop, because you don't train, you develop a leader. And that has taken longer, but we have a company of leaders, and we believe in them, and they believe in themselves. So it makes everything better.
So what do you call the manager of each location?
Location leader.
A location leader. I love that, by the way. I've loved it for the years that I've known about it, and it fully describes that individual that would be stepping into that role. The word leader is attached to it, and it's got to mean so much more, not only to you guys for blessing someone into that role who's earned it, but the pressure they have to be such a great leader. Wow. Guys, equipment. Does every place have the same equipment, or do you ever share?
Oh, yeah, we've shared, and we have certain pieces of specialized equipment that we only have 1 or 2 copies of, and those pieces do travel from one location to another. But for the basic equipment, the stores are all pretty much outfitted in the same manner. All the basics are all there.
I saw your 1, 2, 3, 4 YF machine, Lee, here. Right. Does every store have one?
2 of the stores currently have them, and the other stores drive over. As the need arises, we add another. We started with 1, and then that was at Urbana, and then Newmarket needed 1, and then I see there'll be another one. And it's nice to spread it out because of the cost, because eventually they'll all have to have them. But it is nice to know that this one scan tool is at this store, this other one, this programmer's over here. And then, yes, Jose's right. You have your basic tools, but then you can buy more and extra if you don't have to outfit them all the same way. And each store can be a little different.
Do you shuttle the tool or do you shuttle the vehicle?
Depends.
Okay.
If it's a hand-carried tool, you can shuttle the tool. But if it's like the R1234 machine, you're coming to the location.
You're shuttling the vehicle over, or would you schedule the customer to that store that can do that job?
Typically not.
Typically not. The customer, it's transparent to them.
Correct.
that the vehicle moved. Guys, when you think back to the episode that we did in March of 2015, and Dwayne, you and I have done some others together, and I so appreciate your support. What is there anything you want to tie back then and to now as we do kind of a last call?
I also listened to those 3 episodes again, and Carm, this is Dwayne, by the way.
What did I call you?
Dwayne, but you asked us in those first 3 episodes to always say our name.
Oh, right. Oh, God, that was the funniest part.
I got that, Dwayne. That was good.
Oh, yeah, that was good. Yeah, you got to listen to it. Hey, this is Dwayne. This is Lee. Okay, all right, funny.
We never do it at the beginning. Halfway through, we'd say it. But you threw a question out there that we didn't have an answer for that we've now demonstrated, and that was, do we need another partner to grow another store? Because at that time there was a partner at each store, and what has changed is we're out of daily operations, and there is not an owner running a store, and we have 5 of them. And as we get the 4th one, when we did the 4th one, one of our leaders asked and went over to that and is leading that. A 5th one, another leader has stepped up, and there's a leader in each store. So no, we don't have to. What we had to do was make leaders and develop them. We had managers. We grew them into leaders. So we answered that question. We don't have to have another partner to grow.
Good, cool, thanks. Jose, how about you?
Well, I saw and heard the survey rank, and you interviewed Dwayne with the rank, and it was really quite interesting to me, and Dwayne would put a number beside.
Yeah, you know what? When I go back to that, I realized, well, that was maybe cool in the beginning, but
and I had thought, oh, how has that changed through the years?
Oh, I see.
And of course, we don't have time for you to duplicate that, but when I look at that list and I hear his answers, I know Dwayne would have different answers, different numbers for each one of those categories, and those categories involved availability, trust, knowledge, relationships, product selection, product quality, etc., etc.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah, I listened to that, and I wrote them all down, by the way, because I took notes as I listened to it in this past week.
So I guess my point really is, what was important 6 years ago, listening to the the podcast, is so different today that it's mind-boggling to me, and it demonstrates how much growth has occurred.
In not only in your business, but the way the industry is headed. I mean, 6 years ago, I'm sorry, we would not have predicted a pandemic or the challenges that we have, technology and people go down in succession. The graying of our industry, the training of our people. It's 10 times what we thought.
Absolutely.
Wow, amazing stuff. Lee, how about you?
So, as you said, the industry has changed greatly. So, where you said you had like chalk fingers on the chalkboard when you listen to those first podcasts, and where you are now, episode 600 plus, you're going strong. Yeah. The content in the industry has changed with it, and we have also learned that we had to change at a moment's notice. When COVID hit last year and everything blew up, everyone panicked. Oh my God, we're going to go out of business. Everyone was going to go out of business. But through that issue, we buckled down and went back to basics and went back to resources and went to all of our strengths with our tier groups and our tier people to where we could survive this and go into defense mode and come back out on offense mode when we got the very first opportunity.
Wow. Defense mode when you have to, and offense mode when it works.
Right.
Wow. And being able to shift and move.
Correct.
As a leadership team here.
It had to happen on a dime.
Three partners. Hell, I know there's husband and wives that can't get along.
Right? So, the three of us, there was the government having all these programs, but all three of us were tackling this in three different ways because there was so much going on.
Yeah.
We couldn't have gotten near the help and stuff from the government and these programs that were out there that helped us survive this and come out stronger on the backside.
How cool is that? So my name's Carm, and that was really funny. Episode 2, please make sure you say your name so the audience knows who's speaking. and I learned to be sure that I ask you your names now so that you didn't have to say them. It's just great. Thank you for your friendship, guys, to invite me down here to the 25th plus one anniversary of the company. Dwayne Myers, José Buesois, Lee Forman. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Carm.
Always a pleasure.
Thanks a lot, my friend.
Thanks for being on board to listen and learn from the premier automotive aftermarket podcast. Until next time,